The narrative on climate change put forward during COP26 in Glasgow will probably be repeated at COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh. The 26th edition of the Conference of the Parties took place in Scotland in November 2021. Although Scotland didn't take part in the talks, most of the principles of the conference, like the key aim of net zero carbon emissions instead of really zero emissions, have been adopted by Scottish government officials and the entire political class. But the reality shows that the promises to stop global warming are both inadequate and constantly broken. The United Nations General Secretary Antonio Guterres recently said that investing in new infrastructure for extracting fossil fuels is moral and economic madness. Despite these words, the UK government is considering the approval of a major new gas field, Jackdaw, located east of Aberdeen, as just one of dozens of new oil and gas projects in the North Sea. So, 6 months after COP26, what is the reality of the promises the government's made in Glasgow? We asked Scott Tully, a leading climate justice activist in Scotland and a member of Glasgow Calls Out Polluters.
The reality is, maybe as you'd expect, it's not too great. So at COP26 we had the Glasgow Climate Pact, which was kind of announced with much fanfare, but anyone who kind of looked at the details would see that there wasn't much there worth having any sort of agreement on. To be honest, I'm surprised the Glasgow Pact even had a name. So the next 6 months have probably went, roughly speaking, as you'd expect for such a flimsy agreement. Business as usual has continued unabated, fossil fuel extraction has continued unabated, and all the projections suggest that we are on course for overshooting the 1.5 limit sooner rather than later.
We did have a significant victory just after COP26 when the Cambo oil field project was at least temporarily suspended. Do you think the same can be done again with Jackdaw and the other North Sea oil projects?
Absolutely, yeah. The possibilities are there to stop these oil fields. They are, as ever, organising questions. A question of how well we can organise together, how many people we can get on board, and how we can leverage our collective power to make sure that our government and the fossil fuel companies cannot comfortably proceed apace with these climate-wrecking plans. The immediate future is challenging. There's no other way of putting it. We are facing numerous crises that are hitting us very hard at the moment. There are plenty of opportunities to organise around this. There are plenty of opportunities to organise against the fossil fuel companies that are at the centre of the climate crisis and the cost of living crisis with their exorbitant levels of profit. There are plenty of opportunities to organise everywhere, wherever you are. If you are doing anything to help build power, be that in your workplace, in your community, be it anywhere, that is all part of the broad struggle for climate justice.
So what do you think the challenges for the movement are looking towards COP27 in Egypt next November?
Very much a lot of key challenges focused on the North Sea and challenging the oil fields there. We also have a big climate camp which is starting in, the date has actually just been announced, it's the 28th of July. The specific location has yet to be decided, but this will be something that intersects with a local community and helps to build the movement there. Yeah, so COP27 is supposed to be focused a lot on implementing, particularly some of the things that were agreed at COP26 at Glasgow. Now, if we've learned anything from COP26 and 25 years of previous COPs and 25 years of failure, is that the people in the room cannot be trusted to make sensible decisions for climate justice independently, because the interests they represent tend to be not the interests of the people, but interests of big corporations and big fossil fuel entities.
Many of the more than 100,000 protesters who marched through Glasgow on the 6th of November last year never believed that the big promises being made came from an honest heart. People's attention is now turning to the North Sea again, where it will be decided if the promises of saving the planet will be fulfilled or will just become empty words.